Trump didn't say any of those things on the debate stage. He said, quote, "They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats." Just this afternoon in Raleigh, North Carolina, J.D. Vance debuted a new line of attack against legal immigrants living in Springfield, Ohio, legally.
In the town of Springfield, Ohio, which I'm honored to represent, we've heard from a number of...
Again, the vast majority of them here legally. They're all here legally. It's important to remember the way Donald Trump has described immigrants, though, as, quote, poisoning the blood of our country, or calling his domestic opponents, quote, vermin. We'll get further into how closely this latest controversy reads like a page out of an autocrat's playbook later this hour, and what that could portend for a near future should Trump prevail in November. Life cycle for a lie of Donald Trump, the "so what if it's fake" chapter of it all, which always comes. Remember that, like so many other contrived controversies, this was not a victimless endeavor. There are people, children, lives today, right now, as we're on the air, irrevocably changed because Donald Trump and J.D. Vance willingly wanted to lie about immigrants. Our favorite reporters and friends. Spectrum News national political reporter Taylor Popolars. Did I botch that again? I know we've had you before.
No,
Taylor,
you got it.
Did I get it? We follow you so closely. It's so great to have you back on another huge story. You spent 5 years covering Ohio politics and Ohio politicians. Importantly, you've traveled with J.D. Vance the last few days. Also joining us, editor-at-large for the 19th, host of the podcast, The And in typical John Heilman fashion, he will fly into the studio any moment. He's, of course, chief political columnist, host of the podcast In Politic for Puck. Taylor, take me through what J.D. Vance has done to his campaign and to the people, more importantly, of Springfield, Ohio.
Well, Nicolle, I think that what's really interesting about this story is there are two things to remember. Vance is obviously Donald Trump's vice president, traveling the country right now as the GOP vice presidential nominee, but he still also is the junior senator from Ohio. So these are his constituents, everybody who's involved in the community in Springfield. Now, over the course of the last 8 or 9 days since Vance started to make reference to these reported claims that local and state officials say are baseless, to Donald Trump saying it at the debate, neither Vance nor Trump have gone to Springfield. Vance even said when we were following him on the trail yesterday in Michigan, acknowledges that traveling in with a large Secret Service detail and a motorcade might not help out. And even the local mayor has said he doesn't want the major candidates from either party to show up right now because there are so many kind of strains on the community already. But Vance has continued to amplify these claims and continue to insist that he's hearing from constituents who are presenting him with evidence, but his office has not been able to present evidence, or the campaign. When I got to speak with him yesterday when we were on the tarmac in Michigan, I asked him, as a have you been briefed? Have you received data? Have you received intelligence from people who you represent in Ohio to confirm where the bomb threats were coming from, to confirm any evidence there? And he wouldn't directly answer. He instead acknowledged that, as Governor Mike DeWine said earlier this week, that most of the bomb threats came from overseas, not all of them, but most of them. And the Trump and Vance campaign feels that because that happened and most of them were overseas, that they can't in any way be associated. To point out that these threats did not start until after President Trump talked about them on the debate stage, which was one day after Senator Vance started to bring them up. And it's really, though thankfully the bomb threats have been hoaxes, it has really disrupted the community, and it's prompted the state to bring in a lot of resources to try to restore normalcy.
Taylor, there's so much to unpack in what you just laid out. Let me come to you on the Wall Street Journal reporting that J.D. Vance was told from the outset it was a lie, and the woman whose cat had gone missing found the cat in the basement. So there were never any pets missing. There were never any pets who Haitian immigrants living in Springfield and working in Springfield, Ohio, had eaten, and J.D. Vance knew that the whole time. Just track that for me.
The Wall Street Journal report was very thorough. It came out overnight. And yesterday, when I had the chance to speak with Vance, I asked him directly. I said, the Republican mayor of Ohio, local and state police, even the Ohio Department of Natural Resources is saying we have no evidence to support these claims. So I said to him, what are you basing these off of? And what he told me, in essence, is that his office continues to hear from people in Ohio who are making these claims. And he told me that he wants to believe them, even if they're lying to him. He said he chooses to believe them right now over the press and over these other officials because he views that there's some seriousness to these claims. At the same about the struggles that Springfield has been facing as these 15,000 plus migrants have come into the community. The schooling system, the local medical facilities, even traffic patterns have been disrupted by this influx. It's not a large community, about 60,000 people before all the migrants showed up. And Vance argues that there should be more reporting on that. Local journalists, including my Spectrum colleagues based in Ohio, have covered that over the last year. But then this obviously ballooned when he says there's a dozen claims that he's heard from folks, and according to him, 10 are verifiable and confirmable. But he even told me yesterday that yesterday morning his office heard from somebody who was speaking to a member of the press, but he said, I'm not going to tell you who that is, but they were confirming that they saw this. So it's been hard to pin him down on this, but he says he's going to press forward because, according to him, he keeps hearing from his constituents, despite what these officials.
In J.D. Vance's mind, he has 10 officials who will talk to only J.D. Vance, but not the Republican Trump-backing governor or the Republican Trump-backing city manager, just him?
That's where it's a little tough. And I should clarify, not 10 officials. He's saying that his office has heard from 10 people who have
10
presented.
dead pets?
12 people, and what he claims are verifiable and confirmable. Presented evidence of that. As you alluded to, the city officials, from the city manager to the Republican mayor to the Ohio governor, say they have no track record of this. Local police have even gone back through 11 months of 911 calls and reports and haven't been able to piece together what Vance is continuing to claim. So as the senator for that state, much less the Republican Party's vice presidential nominee, it's pretty fascinating that he continues to lean into this and push into this, despite the fact-checking from the local officials on the ground.
Do you have a
I have a dog. Her name is Bonnie.
If she went missing, would you have pictures of Bonnie everywhere?
Oh, definitely. They're already on my social media.
Are there any pictures of the 10 allegedly dead or missing cats or dogs?
So we haven't seen any. The Wall Street Journal report referred to a woman who had reported her cat missing, and then a reporter for the Journal actually went and found her, and she said, oh, after I thought the cat was missing, the cat ended up being in the basement, as you highlighted earlier, and she even suspected may have taken the cat. But that's about the extent of this proof. And I, of course, I'm sure with every other journalist, welcome Vance and the Trump campaign to present this evidence that they're alleging, because if it's happening, it's, of course, serious. But over a week into this, they haven't presented it. They just keep claiming that these claims are there. Vance even told us when we were in Wisconsin yesterday, another reporter asked him, you know, isn't it up to you to verify what you're going to broadcast because you have such a big megaphone? And his response that the crowd cheered on was that he thinks the residents of Springfield are saying, and basically alluding to the fact that he doesn't feel that he has to verify stuff before he broadcasts it.
So, Aaron Haynes, to quote Bill Barr, there are no photos of the dead pets because it's bullshit. There aren't any dead pets. Here's the Wall Street Journal report. Quote, a Vance spokesperson on Tuesday provided the Wall Street Journal with a police report in which a resident had claimed her pet might have been taken by Haitian neighbors. But when a reporter went to Anna, she said her cat, Miss Sassy, which went missing in late August, had actually returned a few days later and was found safe in her own basement. J.D. Vance, for his part, admitted to Dana Bash that he created this story to get the press to talk about it. But I guess to Taylor's reporting, Aaron, we might be talking about the strains on a community and the schools and the public services if he hadn't told. It's the lie that J.D. Vance told that has us focused on the absence of any evidence of what Donald Trump said, that they're, quote, eating the dogs, they're eating the cats.
Absolutely. Nicolle, and it's the lie and the racism that we need to be focused on, not this racist coach, right? And this sassy didn't ask to be a part of this. Neither did the rest of the American electorate. And yet here we are, still talking about this and having to disprove the city resources that are having to be spent on this coach because there's an election to win. I mean, no, we absolutely should be pointing out that now.
Aaron, we're gonna fix your audio so we don't miss a word. This conversation is too important. John Heilman is here. I feel like it's important for us not to get tired, right? I mean, this is so tiring and tiresome, the lies.
It's beyond tiring.
The Haitian community that lives there is scared, but I mean, the elementary school was targeted. So every family with a child in elementary school is scared this week.
I want you to, I've been thinking about this a lot and trying to think about what a decent, fantastical analogy would be, right? We live in New York City. There's a homeless issue here. It's a real issue. We have homeless people, right? Strains on public service, the humanitarian, the issues related to
mental health.
And mental health, economic issues, all kinds of things, right? If the mayor of the city held a press conference and announced that there had been some reports from Soho, where I live, about cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers coming up out of the sewer and eating homeless people. And the press went to him and said, wow, that's incredible. Like, I mean, that's an insane story. Do you have some, can you